सर्वधर्म स्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयोः श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानंद स्वामिने सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति. So one of the important doctrines of Advaita, as we saw last time, is the concept of Jivan Mukti. Because, to the Ajnana, the Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhava Atman got embodied in this body, suffered the samsara, etc. And then, once the Ajnana is removed, it goes back to its pristine state of purity, freedom, and so on. इसमें क्या है? वो कहते हैं, this is not that as a result of Advaita. अद्वैत ज्ञान की वजह से बाद में कुछ प्राप्त होगा, ऐसे कुछ नहीं। जैसे ही अद्वैत ज्ञान प्राप्त हुआ, साथ ही साथ संपूर्ण रूप से यही जन्म में मुक्त हो जाते। It is not that, because of as a corollary, as a result of that, बाद में मिलेगा, nothing like that. In this birth itself, then only the real benefit of getting that highest knowledge of Advaita will become meaningful. In this life itself, the person will feel completely free of any bondage. And then he becomes Jivan Mukta once he gives up the body, because there is no more birth or death for such a person. So this is a slight difference between the other schools, particularly Bhakti schools and the Advaita. Bhakti, they say, they do, then they surrender, Sharanagati, sa, and then Sharir chhodne ke baad, and then they go and then they merge with the Lord or whatever it is. There's normally here and now itself such a thing happening is a very, very rare idea. Because then that is the end of it. You see, supposing they say, in the case of very, very rare sadhakas like Andal and others, where they are supposed to have merged with the Lord itself, and that is the end. Uski baad kuch nahi. Whereas in the case of a Jivan Mukta, he comes back and lives in the world, but lives with full freedom of the knowledge of total, complete freedom, free from any bondage, any attachment, etc. So that is a basic philosophical difference. Ultimately, they may not mean much, but then as far as philosophy is concerned, as far as our understanding is concerned, there is a small difference. Of course, the history is full of great Jivan Muktas, like we have seen many, like Sadashiv Brahmendra, Ramana Maharshi, Swami Vivekananda, many others. Even of course, they're not last but not least Swami Shankaracharya, because when he says Shekasya Swahridaya Pratyayam Brahma Vedanam Dehadharanam cha Apena Patiksheptum Shakyate. When one feels in his heart that is realized Brahman and yet holds the body, how can this be denied by another? Isliye ज्ञान का जो main thing in our tradition is स्वसंवेद्य. मैं ब्रह्मज्ञानी के अज्ञानी दूसरे की पता नहीं चले. I will know. Is my experience. And anybody can claim, how is it? Then from that Vyavahara, the person is realized, the person is liberated, or if he is in bondage and pretending to be liberated, अब सहज में एक मूर्ख को भी पता हो जाएगा. So that's not a problem. But essentially, knowing the highest is an interior realization. One only knows what knowledge one has got. So here, this is not a corollary or subsequent to the happening of the Advaita Jnana itself. Advaita itself means at the highest level is Jivan Mukti or Mukti in this very birth itself. not beyond that. And then you see the path of jnana is involves tremendous mental disciplines which are very exacting and very uncompromising. आप किसी तरह समझौता नहीं कर सकते. This moment, see, done now and then. There is no other this thing. For example, when the Ramana Maharshi had a big carbuncle in the hand, doctors wanted to give anesthesia. He said, no, why? Operate. Like that. That kind of the highest. Imagine someone doing a major operation without anesthesia. What kind of the idea, I am not the body, how much pratishthit hone mein sambhav. To what extent one should be established in the idea, I am not the body. See, all of us, what is our biggest bondage? Is our body, is it not? First is our body, then our mind. These are our main reasons for our bondage. Na? कोई शरीर से ऐसे कोई परेशानी है, किसी को मन से, किसी को दोनों से. These are 3 types of people who are struggling. So, but if a person has realized that state, then nothing is a bondage. Body is, there's a very clear de-identification with the body. That person clearly knows that he is not the body. मान जी मेरा कोई यहाँ ये है, कंप्यूटर है, इसके कोई जोर से कोई आघात किया, मेरा क्यों लगेगा क्या? Will I feel that? Because I know that is different from me. So to that extent, if one knows one is not the body, then only one is established in Advaita. Just like Swami Shantatmananda, huge carbuncle operation on his back. Doctor, no need. You tell me, I will withdraw my mind from the body, you can do the operation. Several hours, operation was done. Not the least feeling. And every day the doctor would come and dress. Such a big wound, dressing is also very painful. But every day the moment doctor says, yes, you will see direct finished. One day the doctor came without telling and touched immediately he shivered in pain. Kya Maharaj, I did all this operation, you never, now suddenly I just touched. But today you did not tell me. My mind was in the body, I could not withdraw it. So, this is the state of Thakur, excruciating pain, cancer the throat. 6 mahine se kuch khana nahi khaya, was only taking rice pudding. And with the doctor talking for 4 hours about God, about ultimate, about truth, about knowledge, about bhakti, about everything. So, these such Mahapurushas have lived time and again have shown. So, but because, this requires a very high uncompromising practices, that is why the Acharya insists again and again, without Vairagya, non-attachment to material things, it is not at all possible to do this kind of vichara. That's why again and again he says, sannyasa is the only way. But you see, we have also seen, there are several types of sannyasis. कोई कुछ पहन लिया सुविधा के लिए, there are a lot of people coming from Bangladesh etc. यहाँ से भिक्षा नहीं मिलता है, उत्तरकाशी चलेगी, हिमालय चाहिए, भगवा पहन लिया, हर रोज सुबह शाम मिलता है. पत्नी भी कोई लाइन में खड़ा होती है, पति भी खड़ा होते हैं, दोनों को वहां ही मिल ही जाता है. घर आके बच्चे लोग के सब बांट देते हैं तो हो गया. So that kind of sannyasis are also there. So sannyasa is not mere putting any dress or anything. Sampurva nyas. Sampurna roop se tyagna. That is sannyas. So, but traditionally, the sannyasins of that order, that is why Shankaracharya is very particular about adhikara bhava. They never, sannyas used to be a very, very rare thing. A great teacher would select 1 or 2 disciples fit for that, and they alone would be encouraged. अभी स्वामी जी आके सब साज कर दिए, से हम लोग की तरह सभी घुस गए इस ज्ञान. But normally it used to be a very tremendously intense discipline. Others were never considered fit aspirants and they were never allowed. So, as that's why Ramakrishna always used to say, it's not necessary for everybody to do. ऐसे कोई physical त्याग की जरूरत नहीं है, मानसिक त्याग भी बहुत चलेगा. So ultimately the idea is whether you are in the house, whether in the ashrama, wherever you are, what he says is basically true. Unless you are able to give up completely, it's not possible. See, the first discipline is Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka. The discrimination between what is Nitya and what is Anitya. So, what is the result of discrimination? आपको तो जो नित्य की रख के अनित्य की त्यागना है, तो how will you proceed further? आप तो दूसरा कदम नहीं उठा पाएंगे, पहले भी आप अटक जाएंगे. So that is why what he says is true. Whether you do it एक अनुष्ठानिक रूप पे करेंगे ना एक दूसरी तरह करेंगे, वो अलग बात है. लेकिन संपूर्ण रूप से ऐसा त्याग नहीं करने में आप यही पथ पे जाने का लायक नहीं है, अयोग्य है, बहुत मुश्किल है. That is why seeing all that only ठाकुर मान स्वामी जी इसका स्वरूप दूसरी तरह किया. Because mother was also इतना साधारण लोग समझे इसे घोर संसारी है. सुबह से रात तक इसकी बनाओ, इसके खिलाओ, इसके ये करो, साफ करो, ऐसी करते रहते बोलते थे. But the point is, mother wanted to set an example. आपका यहाँ रह के भी ऐसा त्याग पूर्ण जीवन जीना संभव है. It's possible to lead a life of such intense renunciation, even staying in the house. क्या पहचान है उनका? क्या है? सबको दिन खिलाते, उसके बाद after 1:32 if something left he would take over, otherwise nothing. So completely giving up every kind of demand of the body. So many things would be served. जैसे जैसे दिन बढ़ता गया, as days were going further and further, it all used to be a very good thing in Mayarbadi and other places. Such good food, everybody will serve. Mother will take only when all have taken. एक भी बचा नहीं, वही अवस्था. कभी कभी 2 बजे 2:30 बजे बैठ रहती थी. Oh, he has not come, he has not come. Oh, बचा नहीं आया. That was a feeling. So absolutely no concession whatsoever for any desire of the tongue or the stomach or a body or anything. और क्या है? कोई एक साधारण रूप से चप्पल भी नहीं पहनती थी. Always नंगे पैर. और कपड़ा single piece, only one piece. अलग अलग कुछ नहीं, only one piece. वही she will wrap it around so beautifully. She was completely covered. Only one piece of coarse cotton cloth is all she wore. ऐसे कोई बना के ले आया था, कोई स्वेटर ना कुछ ले आया था. सिर्फ एक दिन पहना रहे हो तो नहीं पहनने में उसका दुख होगा. एक दिन में पहना नहीं, इसे नहीं पहनाना ठीक नहीं है. So you cannot see a greater example of त्यागा. आप बहुत ढूंढ के आप जाइए, go to the deepest cave or a forest or anything, there also you will not see such. Barest minimum food, barest minimum this thing, शारीरिक स्तर पे. That is the idea as far as body is concerned. Just a single piece of cloth. ठाकुर का भी इतना त्याग नहीं बोलूंगा. The way mother was lived, her tyaga was even more. Because Thakur sometimes used to take jalebi, took something else, used to have fun, but never have mother expressed, "वो मेरा खाने के लिए अच्छा लगता है." I don't think she has ever said. जो भी है कुछ दो, बस नहीं दो, खत्म. वो भी कोई आया उठा के दे देती थी. अरे उसका देना. So as well, mind, purest to the mind. सब लोग आके कहते हैं अशांति. I never felt any ashanti. When I was in Dakshineshwar, so much problem, such a small room, morning to night visitors, cannot even go and search Ramakrishna. Still she says, I always used to feel as if a picture of bliss was placed in my heart. हृदय में ऐसी कोई शांति की कलसी बिठाया, ऐसा मैं अनुभव करता था. सब लोग आके अशांति कहते हैं, मैं तो समझ नहीं पा. और मन में किसी के प्रति सामान्य भी कोई दुश्मनी नहीं. Not the least negative feeling or idea about anybody. इतना परिशुद्ध मन. ठाकुर भी दे रहे हैं उसकी बहुत ही. He's so worldly. I see this boy is so worldly. He's after so many things. इतना आसक्ति है. Thakur used to make the distinction, say good, bad about others. Mother never ever. For her, everybody was. So if you are mentally and physically, if you are like that, you are the fittest person for sannyasa, fittest person for vairagya, fittest person for Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivek Vichar. So we must qualify ourselves, whether we are in the house, whether in the ashrama, we must vichar har din. Are we going the right direction? How much are we able to give up anitya for nitya? Every day if you do that vichara, slowly you will go in the right path. Yes, I am caught up here, I am caught up there, I am caught up in this. Let me give up all that. Slowly let me try. Every day let me try. So then you slowly become a qualified aspirant for it. That is why they were emphasizing, because you see again and again, see Vivekachudamani, he insists the Shishya against giving way to the Anatma Vasana. मन तो हम लोग का अनात्मा वासना से भरा है, because of several births of the past births and samskaras. The mind is filled of anatma vasana. By atma vasana, constantly the mind should be cleansed again and again. Whenever the mind goes towards anything, anatman, in atman. How to realize the atman? How to get that shuddha buddha mukta swabha? How to get that sachidananda swarup anubhav karna? If we go like that, and then it's possible. That's why in Gita it says, Manushanam sahasreshu kaschit yatsisiddhe attame siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvata. Not only that, he says, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. बहुत बहुत जन्म की बात वो मेरा उपासना करते हैं, उनका they become persons of knowledge. What is that? So if you see somebody have become great Jivan Mukta in this life, you must only know that they have been practicing for several lives and finally now they have got. You remember the famous Shav Sadhana story of Sri Ramakrishna? Like that somebody sat and immediately he got mother's darshan. माँ आपका क्या, मैं तो समझ नहीं पा रहा हूँ. This person did so much. इतना जुगाड़ किया, he arranged everything. He was about to sit and realize then a tiger came and took him away, whereas I did nothing. I have got your darshan. नहीं बेटा, पूर्व पूर्व जन्म में तुमने बहुत किया, इसकी वजह से यही जन्म में तुम्हारा दिल रहा. Because of this, in this birth you are getting it. That's what the mother said. So if you see like that, then that means they have been practicing for many years. Again, you know another idea in Advaita Vedanta here. It talks about two Brahmans, Nirgun and Saguna Brahman. Of course, there is no idea of worship of any personal god, Ramakrishna, Durga, Shiva, सब कुछ भी नहीं. In this Vedanta, we only talk of two ideas, namely Saguna and Nirgun Brahma. The Nirgun Brahma is from the transcendental point of view or the Paramarthika, at the ultimate. Whereas the Saguna Brahman, when it takes up the idea of Srishti, etc., it's called Ishvara, and that is the Saguna Brahman or the Vyavaharika idea. So here, the Prapancha, the world, is imposed, is aropit on Brahman. Brahman ki वैसे तो कुछ नहीं है. Because of the avarana, the covering aspect of Maya, and the vikshepa, the distorting aspect of Maya, दोनों मिलके आपका एक प्रपंच की प्रोजेक्ट करता है. There's nothing called world in one sense. It's really in that an Upanishad, where it is completely discussed that the world doesn't exist at all. Where is the world? That is the Mandukya Karika में वही elaborate चर्चा है. Because the world is there only as long as you are awake. कई बार even when we are awake, the world does not exist for us. Supposing you are sitting somewhere, your eyes are open, you are very much awake, but you are deeply absorbed in something. Something happened, something so serious, something so drastic. Your mind is completely drawn there. Whoever comes and goes in front of you, someone coming near, Arey, Gargi, huh? Kahan? Then where was the world? World is gone completely. So the world comes into existence only when we are awake. Otherwise, world is not there. So how do you say that this world is real then? When I am awake, when I am alert, there is world. When I am not awake, if you go to sleep, world is gone completely. Where is the world in your sleep? You may have 10 lakhs cash in the Godrej Almira, you may see how many 3-4 times you have checked the lock and you have slept. In the sleep, 10 lakhs, totally gone. It's not there at all. So, the world is real only to that extent. So that is why, even if we say that world does not exist at all, you cannot contest because for you it exists, for me it doesn't exist. Even while awake, if you can go to such a deep state of awareness or samadhi or the nirvikalpa, everything will vanish. It's quite logical, it's not illogical. You see, because even with all my attachments, all my desires, all my problems, even I feel every day the world is not there. Every day, for some hours, the world does not exist for me. Because every day I go to sleep. The moment I go to sleep, the entire world with my husband, wife, children, grandchildren, all sampati, property, document, everything totally gone. When you wake up, all that come back. So, every day, 6 hours, we experience the world does not exist. So, it is possible these 6 hours might get extended to 12 hours, this might get extended to 24 hours, then the world will completely vanish from you. So, how can you say the world is real? That is why it is a distortion caused by these two powers of Maya, namely the Avarana Shakti and the Vikshepa Shakti. So, in the Saguna Brahman Ishvara, there is an approach because when it is, if you follow the path of Jnana, you directly go and approach the Nirguna Brahman. You don't go through the route of Saguna Brahman. It's like you're a super student from class 12, directly you enroll for, say, something like post-graduation. Maybe for integrated courses. Which में क्यों हो रहा है आपको पता भी नहीं. Directly you go to that. But whereas the Saguna Brahman Pasna, the same principle, same ultimate truth, but you adore and worship as someone responsible for the creation, protection, destruction. So it's only we are creating an intermediate in the Saguna Brahman as a personal God. My Durga, my Shiva, my Kali, my Ramakrishna. All that. Why? Because straight away I cannot concentrate on the Nirguna Brahman. I cannot go to that supreme principle of non-duality to start with. So I start with this Saguna Brahman. I start with that adorable, worshipful God because we are all full of emotions, full of such ideas, full of desires, full of so many things. So with all that, instead of directly trying to go to the Nirguna, I go through the path of Saguna, whereby those feelings, all my defects, all my problems, I channelize towards the personal God as a Saguna. मेरा बहुत खाने की इच्छा है, मैं भगवान की भोग देता हूँ, भोग दे के प्रसाद लेता हूँ ताकि वो पवित्र हो जाए. I have so much desire for clothes, I decorate my God beautifully. I don't use it for myself, I decorate my Ishtadevata beautifully and enjoy that scene. So all your desires, problems, defects, everything you can channelize towards God so that you become pure and pure and pure. At one stage, you can probably even go to the Nirguna from Saguna. It's only for the sadhakana, only for the sadhaka's help, for their sahayata, for their assistance, to help them realize. So this intermediate is created. So there is no contradiction. Basically, the same ultimate principle is viewed as all this, but the jiva in its conditioned state of being conditioned by the avarana and vikshepa shakti of Maya that operate and conceal the reality, project what is called the world, which is a projection on, or the aropita, or the imposition on Brahman. That is why we say all that. So, at the end of all that, when the student realizes that supreme bliss is Atma Jnana due to the grace of the Guru, hearing all those Mahavakyas, etc. And then, when he realizes all that, and then when he comes back, he does not completely deny the external world. But then his world view is completely changed. Previously, he thought this is all real. This world, this relationship, these things, this buying, the selling, eating, not eating, doing all that. All that were considered real and important. But then it's a totally a different view. He has he has risen to the state of Jivan Mukta, but he affirms his need to approach the Paramatman as something adorable through devotion, through bhakti, and through karma, through seva, etc. So the Advaitins, real Advaitins, don't look down upon the approach religion as bhakti, as bad and inferior anything, because Shankaracharya himself has done the Sanmata, Sthapana, Pratishtha. In so many places he installed the Sri Chakra. Many places he started the Devi Upasana. Some of the devotional hymns written by him are extraordinary, much more than what many of the Bhakti school people have written. All these show that it's all, he did not see them as inferior, but he saw only the necessity of all these as stepping stones. That's why Swamiji also says somewhere, Dvaita, Visishtadvaita, Advaita, the journey is not from error to truth, but it is from lower truth to higher truth. ये सर से फिर भी ऊंचा है, फिर भी ऊंचा है, फिर भी ऊंचा. So here also Shankaracharya says, you must do all that. Nitya Naimita Karma, as prescribed Shastras, etc. One should certainly do, but one should not get caught up there. At one stage of life, as you go further and further and further, then they fall off by themselves. So that is why the Naishkarmya or actionlessness without doing anything, that is a state attained through evolution. Jabardasti nahi hai. That's why Gita also says, Karmendriyani samyame yase manasaspurindriyartami mudha vityachara sanchete. So you cannot forcibly say that, oh, I have given up all that, I am a Brahmajnani now. No. You have to do everything. Do it with such intensity, such ideas, such feelings. Ultimately, that automatically takes you to the state of Naishkarmya, where you completely, all those fall up. Shamshi also gives a very good example. From a palm tree, when the leaves are not dried enough, if you pull them, it will leave a mark. It will hurt. If you pull off, then there will be blood. But in due course of time, when it is fully dried, it will fall off by itself. The palm tree also, the leaf, just to touch it, it is waiting to be pulled, it will come down, it won't leave a mark. So, the Visishtadvaita, Dvaita, Visishtadvaita, that should be a process of evolution. Of course, there may be rare aspirants who can directly aspire for the highest without going through the intermediate stages also. But majority of the people, when they practice, automatically at some point of time, they fall off without any effort by themselves because they have become fully fit for such a state. Normally, the religion which starts from and is sustained by the devotee-deity duality. Bhakta hai, Bhagwan hai, Dvaita hai. धीरे 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 अंत में होगा. That's why they call up that mystic union. भगवान के साथ एक होना. वो भी ये भी कहते हैं in Bhakti schools, there are a certain class of devotees who always want to retain the distinction. Thakur also himself, I don't want to become chini. मैं चीनी लेने के लिए मेरा इच्छा है. मैं चीनी नहीं होना चाहिए. I don't want to become sugar. I would like to taste the sugar. So one class of devotees, they always say, we don't want to merge with the Lord. We will keep our identity so that we can always enjoy His Vaibhava. Bhagwan ka jo Vaibhava hai, uska jo quality hai, that we want to enjoy. There is one class of people who opt for even that. But in Bhakti also, the highest thing is union, oneness. So what is called oneness or union in Bhakti is called as unity in philosophy. So the effectiveness of union lies in complete that getting to that state. Ultimately, whether when it's a union, where it's a saint or the seer, they all become one. They realize that The goal of their life is becoming that reality. Brahma Gyan sirf kitab ki gyan nahi. It's not understanding intellectually. Becoming one with Brahman. Becoming Brahman. Becoming one with the Lord. So everyone ultimately, the goal is to become, not just to know. Whether you call it Brahman or Ishvara or God or anything, becoming that, becoming one with that, that is the goal, that is the reality, and not just the intellectual understanding, it is like that, it is like that. So again, towards, there is also this discussion. What is the idea of all this metaphysical quest and all this in the age of science, where people are going to Moon, people are going to Mars, they are doing so much. What Advaita करके क्या आप सच्चरी करते रहते हैं? What is the idea? What is all this discussion, philosophical and all that? See, the point is, the adventures of the modern man is to set his foot on the moon and the Mars and all that. No doubt, they are all good. It requires tremendous courage, strength, the willpower, etc. But then, this search in this inner regions of your personality, in your heart, this is actually, it's no less, much more difficult. Whatever the peace or happiness you would get, 100-fold you will get if you do this. The peace and the joy and the fullness that one would get if one realized the highest truth would be far, far in excess of what you get through any scientific knowledge or realization or anything. If you say what we say in terms of science and science, again you say it's a conquest of nature. So actually, it's also we are trying to demolish the frontiers of unreality. But here, what is that ultimately? Asato ma sadgavaya, tamaso ma jyotirgavaya, mrityor ma amritakavaya. Unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Maybe the greatest of scientists. What happens many of them towards the end of their life? How they suffer loneliness, how they suffer other things. This will be completely free from all. So there is a difference, because there is no, this experience is totally different. There is no pride. There is, the idea is ultimately it frees you from the bondage of birth and death. So it says, Bhagavad puts it, Punarnatasya anga guha pravesha, does not enter that cave of that body once again. It's finished once and for all. So both are actually, in a sense, adventures. In one case, it is the idea is to conquer nature, it's a conquest of matter. In the other case, it is negation of matter. I don't consider anything worthy in this world. All that science has brought us is more and more convenience, more and more progress. More and more chori, more and more dakati. More colorful things it is quite, more and more you are adding to temptation. See, has all the science and advancement and all that, has the crime rate decreased or increased? आप घर बैठ बैठ के आपकी सब हार पार चोरी कर लेगा. You need not come. पहले कितना मेहनत करना था, एक दल बनाना था, रात को आना था, सब सो जाते हैं उस समय. अभी कुछ नहीं है, अपना घर पे बैठ के आपकी बहू का बैंक अकाउंट से सब ले लिया, खत्म कर दिया. So everything is like that. All the so-called our discoveries, our this and all that, they have only increased problems to man. It has only led to crisis of character. All that, you're going to moon, you're going to Mars, you're going to other things. What has happened to you as an individual ultimately in the world? Some conveniences, some gadgets, some this and that, maybe. But in the wake of that, so much of negativity, so much of problem. In India, some 500 years ago, there were no so many, Adanis and Ambanis were not there. But एक आदमी भी भूखा नहीं मरता था. No one would die of hunger, because food time, anyone comes, you'll be fed. Because they themselves used to eat simple food. दो आदमी का हमेशा ही दो चार की extra बना देते. It was so easy to share. But you live such a high lifestyle, even to accommodate one person means 1 lakh rupees. Because you eat such costly food. Each meal of you costs 1 lakh. So you can't give it to one more person. So our conveniences, our science and our growth and our discoveries have only made man more and more a selfish animal. Absolutely self-centered life. People used to live freely. It used to be open. There's no so much of secrecy. Anybody can walk in. दरवाजा खोल ही रहते थे हमेशा. आ जाओ, घंटी बजा, दोपहर का समय, खाना खा लो, चले जाओ. That was the idea. But today, it's all gone completely. So the science and our discoveries have not taken us anywhere at all. They have only made us much worse in terms of character, in terms of our behavior, in terms of our attitude, and it has only increased tremendous amount of ashanti, restlessness, dukha hai, kashta hai. But whereas this effort, even if you do a little, even if you spend 1 hour a day, you feel far better. Because it's a culture of the mind, it's an interior. So, again they ask this question, अच्छा ठीक है आप तो जीवन मुक्त हो गए, so दुनिया का क्या फायदा आपसे? What is the use of you to the world? Whereas I make a lot of money, I do some charity, I do some this, I am doing some hospital, वो सब ठीक है. If one person is also there, was truly realized the goal, उनके चारी तरह, all around him, it will be beautiful ambience of peace and happiness and calmness. Why people go to great personalities? Just in their very presence. Ramakrishna Kamre में simply used to, reclining pose, he used to just lie down, quite often closing his eyes. Thousands used to go. Simply go on sitting there, their life, they will feel tremendous happiness, joy. There will be many Swamis. He was really popular, so we are saying. Shankaracharya, Kamakoti, Peter. Thakurma Swamiji baat to chhodi do. Why people used to come to Mother daily, so many householder ladies. Mother never used to talk to them about God or Advaita or philosophy or anything. Simply staying in Mother's presence would elevate them souls. संसार के सब जो जलना सब खत्म हो जाता था. The moment they used to come near Mother. So that is the advantage. So ultimately all that benefit, you can give some food to somebody, some other convenience to somebody, all that will be only for some time. It will not last longer. इसको खिलाया फिर 3 घंटा बाद फिर बुखार लगी उसको. He's not going to ना 3 घंटा पहले वो देते थे. No, I shall not ask. Will the stomach obey? अरे छोड़ो 3 घंटा हो गया फिर डालो. Again it will ask. So all these are all temporary. Whereas if in the presence of a Jivan Mukta, if you go, his very presence will uplift you, take your mind to a greater level. Why people come to ashramas, why people come to shrine, why people want to sit. Sitting there, the mind gets uplifted. It is so elevated. That's the beauty. So there's no point in saying, that's why they say, see, even if the Shruti recommends, even if you want to ask for something, you ask from such a Jivan Mukta. Tasman Atmajnam Hi Abhyarchayet Bhukti Kama. Even if you want anything worldly, go and pray to a person who is a Jivan Mukta. Because he will give you in such a way in abundance, without any expectation. कोई शर्त नहीं आरोप नहीं करेंगे. सहज में आपको दे पाएंगे. That's why so many people go to great saints and others and ask. So it's one should remember that this countless such great souls have lived from time immemorial. So there's a huge help to mankind. The presence. Why again avatara should come down on earth. Why God is sending such messengers? Because धर्म की ग्लानि है, अधर्म की बढ़त है, उसको संभालने के लिए, एक नया दिशा रास्ता दिखाने के लिए. So a new path, new approach to reality. That's why again the messengers come down from to earth to show the way. And then we must remember, knowing Advaita Vedanta is not as being an Advaita. With Atma Jnana and Atma Anubhav. Any person can give a wonderful lecture. If you read some books, if you are intelligent, it's all Paroksha Jnana and Puti Gata Vidya Parahasadhanam. Whatever knowledge you get from books, It's like money in somebody else's hand. Supposing it's in somebody in your hand, what is that to me? I can't touch a single paisa. So the knowledge from the books is like that. But Atma Jnana, Atmanubhuti, having that knowledge, having that experience is something very different. And then, ekagra ताकि सही एकांत वास में गुरु शिष्य जो परस्पर जो संपर्क से then slowly a rare soul gets the highest experience. Not all succeed like that. That's why it said manushyānam sahasreshu kaschita siddhi atam siddhānam kaschin māmet tattva. Why it is explained? It says thousands of people qualified by their shastric knowledge and punya karma, perhaps someone who is expert, who has got this nitya vastu veka etc. as a result of good deed done in several lives. Bhuram janmanamante. After doing that, one gets a deep desire for this. And rarest of the rare among them attains the siddhi of the highest. So because drawn to the path of jnana through purity of mind, they realize that the someone obtains the highest knowledge or the Bhagavad Sakshatkara, etc., because of the Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, and other disciplines, etc. They are, they realize then their Pratyagatman is not different from Atman, due to the hearing the Mahavakyas from Guru, like Tattvamasi, etc. They all that. Then only the rarest of the rare, they attain to such knowledge through Atmanishta, etc., etc. So, when you put it so, what is the real purpose of studying scriptures like Vivekachudamani? भाई सब मेरे से बहुत दूर है उसे क्या पढ़ के मेरा क्या फर्क है? One might say no. Gita itself says Salpamapyasa dharmasya trayate mahatopaya. Whatever you do in spiritual life, the greatest benefit is कुछ भी नष्ट नहीं होता है. Nothing like wastage in spiritual life. 100 रुपए का 100 रुपए ही मिलेगा. There is nothing like उसमें कोई 5 रुपया कमीशन काट लिया ऐसा कुछ नहीं. So whatever you do, however much you do, it will add to the spiritual treasure that you are having. But the more you do, quicker. और आपको यहाँ से जाना है बनारस, पैदल में प्रारंभ कर सकते हैं तो 10 दिन 15 दिन लगेगा. अब गाड़ी लेके जाइए तो 16 घंटा लगेगा. अब वंदे भारत से जाइए तो 6-7 घंटा में पहुंच जाएगा. प्लेन में जाइए 1 घंटा में पहुंच जाएंगे. So it depends upon your urgency. So Thakur says, अन्नपूर्णा भंडारे अभुक्त कोई ताके ना. किसी भी व्यक्ति का भूखा नहीं रहना है. लेकिन किसी को सुबह मिल जाती है, सुबह के दोपहर, किसी को शाम, किसी को संध्या काल में मिलता है. क्यों? अब इतना देर से लाइन में लगा है, इसलिए आपका देर होता है. So it depends upon our urgency. The urgency. Do you really feel that? That's why in the Upanishad there is a very famous expression, Deepta Shira. Supposing your head is on fire, will you be sitting, taking sandesh or taking coffee or tea? You will rush. कैसे उसके निभाएं? कहाँ पानी मिलेगा? So you rush. Same way, if you feel that you are bound by this samsara, you want to get rid of it. You want to go beyond that. You want to reach the goal of life and completely cut off all these bondages. आप अंदर ही अंदर इसके ऐसी कोई ताकत आप अनुभव करें. If you feel the urgency of the string, इसकी इतना जरूर है, ऐसा अनुभव करें. Then you start working towards that. So knowing whatever is given will give you an idea. कैसे करना है, क्या क्या जरूरत है. What are all the things that are necessary for such a knowledge? How I should prepare myself. इसी से आपको सब पता होगा. What is so? In that also we can interpret it according to our needs, our positions. आपके सामने बोला, then you have to see. हाँ, यहाँ से आप 100 मीटर 9 सेकंड्स में दौड़ सकते हैं. Yes, Usain Bolt can run, but मेरे लिए तो 30 सेकंड लगेगा और दूसरे के लिए तो 25 सेकंड लगेगा. So you must understand, oh मैंने तो Usain Bolt नहीं बनाया क्योंकि रोने में कोई फायदा नहीं है. नहीं, अभी मैं 30 में करूँगा, धीरे-धीरे 25 में करूँगा, फिर 20 में करूँगा. So with that idea, one should, because you see, in spiritual life, nobody should feel disheartened. किसी को निराश नहीं होना चाहिए. क्यों? इसका आप तो कुछ भी आप करें नहीं करें, आप स्वरूपतः स्वभावतः वही आप शुद्ध बुद्ध मुक्त आत्मा ही है. आप जानते हैं नहीं जानते कोई फर्क नहीं है. यू आर दैट. दैट्स व्हाट शास्त्र अगेन अगेन से. यू आर दैट. आपका नया कुछ जोड़ेगा नहीं. There is nothing that is created fresh. Whether you know it or not, you are that Shuddha Buddha Mukta Svabhava Satchidananda Swarup, अजर अमर आत्मा. You are that. लेकिन आप पहचान ले, यही जीवन में जीवन मुक्त अवस्था होके बहुत आनंद में रह सकते. मान लीजिए आपका कोई 100 करोड़ का संपत्ति रख के गया है, आपको पता नहीं है, आप इधर उधर ढूंढ रहे हैं, आपका हर रोज खर्च चलना ही मुश्किल है. Every day you find it difficult to meet the daily expenses, but somebody has left 100 crores for you. You don't know. This is like that. You are the Malik, you are the owner of 100 crores. लेकिन आपको पता नहीं. उसने अरे तो मेरा कुछ नहीं है, मेरा तो दाल रोटी नहीं चल रहा है, कैसे चलाऊं, गणेश जी भी नहीं दे रहे हैं, क्या करूं. So you are always, but then you are there. It is like knowing. मैं अभी नहीं उसका टच नहीं करूंगा. I don't, but I know so much is there. Whenever I need, I will take it. But I know I am that owner. So it is like that. When you read all this, you again and again at least come to know that I am that. I am that. अभी मेरा नहीं पता होता है. I am not able to know now I am that. I am in a state of bondage. At least that much you will understand ना. इतना तो पता होगा. I am in a state of bondage. मैं इतनी चीज से फंसे हूँ. I am bound by so many things, so many samskaras, so many problems. But I also know I am that ultimately. At least intellectually understand I am the supreme immortal soul, immortal self. So if I work my way slowly, if I work hard, मैं बहुत मेहनत करो, प्रयास करो, then slowly one day I will reach them. वही आशा हमेशा आपका मन में रहेगा. That is why we must read such books. Not that if you read Vivekachudamani, अगले दिन आप ब्रह्मज्ञानी हो जाएंगे. No, but you will know कहाँ आप अटके हो. Where are the places where you are stuck? What is bothering you? Why are you not able to realize the truth? Why is it not shining in front of you? Why are you so bound? All that will come. Then you will know. I am here. I have to go here. What I have to do? Slowly I will do depending upon my capacity. That's the answer. So I think that much is a wonderful help. So with that idea, we will again take up the detailed study of the text. When we resume the classes, we need some introduction. Introduction is over. Now we go to the text proper. But अभी नहीं होगा क्योंकि अगले सप्ताह तो महालया है. Next week is Maharaj ji are in. Swami Shantatmananda will come next week. There's a talk on Chicago because 11th September is famous day. That day there will always be Udghatan of this Swamiji's Murti which we are bringing to the front of the ashrama. So 11th evening is a public talk. 18th is Bhakt Samet. And 25th is Mahalaya. So puja ke baad dekhiye. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Namaste.